So with chapter 4 basically coming to a close now, which again I uh, don't really know how to feel about. I didn't really know how to feel about it last chapter, and I don't know how to feel about it this chapter. I kind of want to discuss chapter 4 in general. Um, Next season, in case you've been out of the loop, pun not intended, we are going back to the chapter 1 map, and we're kind of doing like a big reset, I guess, for the storyline. I don't really know, but we are going back to the chapter 1 map, so we're basically at the end of chapter 4's lifespan, and I just kind of wanted to take a bit and just kind of discuss what did I like about this chapter, what did I dislike, and do I think this was a good Fortnite chapter? Because, I mean, as you guys know, I thought chapter 3 was pretty good. And going into chapter 4, I definitely had some high hopes. I know I made a video saying that chapter 4 would be amazing in time, and I did genuinely believe that. But I do want to say that my opinions in general have kind of changed a bit, and I feel like it'll be important to kind of reflect on every season and just kind of see how everything holds up. So without further ado, did chapter 4 deliver, or did it blow? So if you ask me, the best way to describe chapter 4 is missed potential. I feel like this entire chapter has been just a ton of missed potential. Now, I want to preface this, the best seasons of this chapter are the one we're currently in and season 2. I genuinely think that season 2 and season 4 are the best seasons in this chapter. Season 1 was alright. We'll get to season 3. But we're gonna go in order. So season 1, you know, it dropped. The theme was kind of more like medieval kind of stuff, which, I mean, that's fine. You know, I don't mind medieval theming and stuff like that. That's cool. I also thought that season was pretty fun in Zero build. The problem with the season is that for about half of it, it felt like bugs were completely plaguing it. And I didn't really like that. I kind of got a bit stressed at stuff like the shockwave hammer and just a couple of other things, but in general, season 1, I don't know, it felt like it was kind of a weaker introductory season than chapter 3 season 1, which, as you guys know, I loved. That season was amazing. Everything they put out in that season was great, but chapter 4 season 1 kind of missed the mark a bit. I thought the loot pool was a little lackluster, with them basically just bringing back the scar, but like worse. And then the shotguns weren't that great. I mean, they were better than the chapter 3 ones, don't get me wrong, but I didn't really like them in general. And then I don't know. The Deku Smash was pretty OP, and that was in the game for most of this season, and we didn't really get that much in terms of updates. I just kind of generally thought Season 1 was kind of boring, kind of bland. It's nowhere near as bad as Chapter 2 Season 1. Again, I still think that's one of the worst seasons of Fortnite I've ever played, but Chapter 4 Season 1 is kind of just like a B-tier season. It didn't really do anything that hurt the game, but it also didn't really do anything that made the game special. So again, just a very B-tier season. It was a fine first season, but for being 100 days in length, I kind of just, I don't know, it was kind of forgettable to me. The map felt very underdeveloped during that season as well. It felt like a lot of the areas were kind of retreading each other, if that makes any sense. And overall, by the end of the season, I was definitely more than ready to leave it. I was kind of bored of it, but going into season 2, I was definitely excited. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about season 1 of chapter 4. I kind of felt like it was just pretty okay. It wasn't quite mid, but it was just okay. Now, season 2 I have a lot more praise for, and just because everything that it did was pretty good. I thought the new POIs that they added were phenomenal. Mega City is an instant hit. Like, I love Mega City so much. And then every POI around it I love as well. I love Japanese architecture, and just the whole theming of it was just amazing. The Battle Pass was good. I completely forgot to talk about the Battle Pass, but yeah, season 1's was just okay. But yeah, I firmly believe that Chapter 4 Season 2 had one of the best Battle Passes in Fortnite history, and I don't think they've beaten it yet. Like, I genuinely don't think that they're going to be able to beat that one unless they go all out. Like, I don't know. generally really liked that season's battle pass, and I still do. I still really do. It's one of my favorites. Love Highwire to death. Um, Gameplay that season was pretty good. I'm not really a fan of the suppressed Havoc AR, but it's better than the Scar that we had the season before, so that's okay. Still, I'm not really much of a reason to pick it up since the Red Eye was in the loot pool. But we also had stuff like the Kinetic Blade, we had the Havoc Pump, which I still believe is one of the best pump variants that we've ever gotten. Still doesn't quite beat the OG pump, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. In general, this season was okay. I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as season 1, and I actually think that it's probably a really high A tier season. I don't quite think it's S tier anymore. I was kind of moving it towards the bottom of S tier for a minute there, but I do think it's like a high A tier season. Not the best season of Fortnite I've ever played, but I love the theme. It's probably my favorite theme of the chapter, and in general, the season was pretty fun. The only real issue, and again, this is something that all Chapter 4 has faced, is not having mid-season map updates. Having a progressive map in Fortnite is one of the most unique things about it, so when you're just doing one big map change per season, it gets a little bland because you're just running around the same areas all season. I really hope that they can fix that going into Chapter 5, but we'll just have to wait and see. You know, we still have a month until then. Yeah, Season 2 was pretty good. Now we get into what I consider to be one of the worst Fortnite seasons I've ever personally played. That being Chapter 4, Season 3, Wilds. Wow, this is going to be a real fun one to talk about. So, I'll admit, I was definitely in denial for a little bit when Wild first started. I really wanted to like it. I went into it, I was like, okay, this theme is similar to Primal. I hate Primal, but maybe this can be good. Just maybe this can be good. There is a chance that this could be good. We're getting a boomerang in the game. Seems like we're getting a bunch of new guns, rideable raptors, which, I mean, I never liked raptors in the first place, so I don't know why they're bringing them back. But hey, it could very well become a good season. There's always a chance, but the season started off and we had arguably some of the worst new weapons I think I've ever used in the game. There was like a thermal DMR, the flapjack rifle, and I don't even remember what else, but it was not fun at all, and I was just generally really disappointed with what they had put into the game just at the start. But it doesn't stop there. They added a jungle biome, which makes sense since it's called Wilds, but dude, this is literally probably the worst biome I think Epic Games has ever put into the game, right next to the Primal stuff. Like, borderline just as bad, honestly. Like, I genuinely think they're equally as bad. Running around in this biome is not fun. There's too much foliage all over the place. It feels too vertical, and it's just really difficult to fight in this area, and I don't like it. It ruined what I genuinely thought could have been one of the best Fortnite maps ever, that being the Chapter 4 map. And I just don't think that anymore. This one change, this one addition of a new biome single-handedly killed any hope I had for this map being arguably the best Fortnite map of all time. Is it the prettiest still? Yeah, don't get me wrong. This is literally the prettiest Fortnite map I've ever had the pleasure of playing on, but good lord, the jungle just ruined everything. I can't get the fuck over it. I can't get over it. The battle pass was pretty shit too. I think Era honestly kind of carried. Didn't really care about Optimus Prime, and that's about it. I don't really like this battle pass at all. Yeah, Season 3 was pretty bad, and having to put up with it for all of summer when all the kids are out of school and the game is a little sweatier than usual, it wasn't a fun time. I didn't really enjoy making content, and I don't know. This season was just not fun at all. Not fun at all. Now, let's get away from that. Let's talk about Season 4. This is, without a doubt, the best season of the chapter. I have I have full confidence in saying that. And the only thing that's bringing it down, to me, is the jungle. I can't preface that enough. The jungle fucking ruins this map in its entirety. But the new POIs this season in Season 4, they've been great. I haven't really been able to talk about Season 4 that much, so I'm going to kind of use this as a chance to kind of chat about it. The heist mechanics are amazing. All the like new heist POIs and stuff, phenomenal. They did such a good job with them. Um, Kato Thorn, amazing character. Battle Pass is pretty good too. I saw a lot of people saying that they didn't really like it at the start of the season, but I think a lot of people, I think I grew on them. I could be wrong, but yeah, I love this season's Battle Pass. Again, heisting, like, it feels like an improved version of getting vaults from Chapter 2 Season 2. Like, it's just more exciting and more fun in general, so I feel like, I don't know, I prefer it. And honestly, the whole theme has been pretty good, but I feel like this season's kind of taken a dip with Fort Nightmares. I won't lie, I had a feeling that Fort Nightmares wasn't going to be that good. I mean, after No Sweat Summer, or not No Sweat Summer, after Summer Escape, which again, I forgot the name just then. I just had to remind myself after getting the name wrong. After that, I felt like it was pretty clear Epic Games did not care about their holiday events anymore, and I'm not really looking forward to Winterfest this year either, but good god that they dropped the ball when it came to Fort Nightmares this year. When it started, I had a ton of hope because I saw things like Jack Skellington and Michael Myers and a new shotgun and just a ton of new stuff. The return of the kinetic blade. Kato Thorn was in his vampire form. It was definitely exciting on the surface. Everything that Epic Games actually did was really minimal. The skins that we got, some of them we haven't even gotten yet. It's just, I don't know, man. I feel like this Fort Nightmares is arguably the worst we've had, and I'm someone who oftentimes hates on things like Midas's Revenge, which other people really liked, but I definitely did not, just because the main LTM took over public matches, and I didn't like having to fight ghosts, but it's still more interesting than whatever the fuck they did this year. But it wasn't as big of a deal with me because the gameplay this season is just good. This season's just been really fun, and only recently have I really not been enjoying it as much because it's the end of the season and all the sweats are out and all that jazz. So, I don't know. I feel like this season is definitely going to go in low S tier for me. It's nowhere near high S tier or even mid, but it's a pretty good season. I have no doubt in saying that, with the only real L being that it's not ending with a live event. That's another thing I want to get into. Overall, I feel like we had two pretty good seasons and two pretty bad seasons. And I really feel like the bad outweighs the good here. I'm not gonna lie to you when I say Wilds completely ruined the Chapter 4 map in its entirety, and I just hope Epic Games never does something like that again. I'm praying to the universe right now that they never do that again. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the big problem with Chapter 4. It has been the lore, the storyline. It's shit. I don't know how else to put it any simpler. At the start of the chapter, even before that, with Paradise, again, I love Paradise. It's probably one of my favorite Fortnite seasons of all time. At the start, not even at the start of that, near the end of that, the lore was kind of all over the place. Epic Games have been teasing their, quote, biggest event ever, and then we got Fracture, and the Fortnite community still has not recovered from Fracture. I'm gonna be honest, we still haven't, but we did get it, and Fracture kind of ruined the lore in its entirety. In Season 1, it seemed like we were going somewhere because we had, like, Knights and all this other stuff. We had, what's his face? Stellan, the Rift Guardian, or whatever his name is. He was, like, teasing an event or something with the Rift Gate, and how it was going to go unstable, and it was going to bring something to the island, and it brought Mega City, and there was nothing really telling us that was going to bring Mega City, and Mega City did not fall over Citadel like it should have, and I don't know. There was a whole thing a bit ago about how the fucking Eclipse Estate was supposed to fall over there, but it didn't, and I feel like there was just a lot of miscommunication at Epic Games with this, but still, going from Oathbound into Mega definitely didn't really make any sense, and then they just dropped the whole Oathbound like storyline for some Syndicate stuff. And like I was okay with that because, you know, what if it leads into a live event? You know, we'll get a live event at the end of the season, that'll take us into season 3, maybe it'll reveal the jungle. We didn't get that either. The Syndicate stuff got wrapped up in a quest off screen. And I don't know why. And then in season 3, we had the whole thing with the apparatus, which, again, wrapped up off screen. And then this season, which in my opinion is the worst of them all when it comes to the storyline, the big bad, Kato Thorn, he has a time machine. He's gonna go back in time, but we gotta heist it, right? Sloan has to heist the time machine. Would that not be something cool to do in a live event that then takes us into chapter 1? And maybe we kill Kato Thorn in the middle of that? Maybe we take him out? No. He gets killed off screen. Same with Countess Duraku, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of the storyline and a lot of the lore Epic has been doing with Chapter 4 has been genuinely awful, and it's genuinely diminished any, like, interesting aspects about the storyline and all that, which makes me sad because I feel like halfway through Chapter 3, the storyline had basically peaked. We had Collision, which was the end of the 7 versus IO, and it was just such an exciting time to be a fan of the Fortnite lore. And then I feel like once Vibin and Paradise happened, they didn't know what they were doing anymore. And, like, I feel like there was something there. There was something there. And Epic Games just did not take advantage of it. And I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like it's ruined a lot of the hype behind this chapter, because what attracts hype into new seasons is when you're able to be like, oh, something big is coming, or like, oh, there's an event coming and it's going to change the map and we're going to get a ton of new gameplay. Like, that is what is exciting about this game. Like, just seeing all the changes happen in real time and all this kind of stuff. We barely got that this chapter, and I just feel like it kind of ruins it. So how does this chapter stack up against the other 3 then? Because from how I'm talking about it, you would think, oh, this is probably my least favorite Fortnite chapter, but it's not. It really isn't. I feel like the gameplay of this chapter outside of Wilds was pretty good, all things considered. For seasons 1, 2, and 4, like, I genuinely enjoyed playing them. It's just Wilds that I really didn't, and I feel like in that regard, Chapter 4 definitely gets it right. The gunplay was pretty good. Zero build was pretty good. Everything was pretty good. Outside of the graphics kind of tanking FPS sometimes, but oh well, there's performance mode for me. And in general, I do think that Chapter 4 had better gameplay than things like Chapter 2. Now, again, when it comes to Chapter 2, there's also things like Season 7 and Season 8 that I can't not say that they were good or better in any way, because I mean, Season 7 is still my favorite season of all time, you know, like, I love Invasion, but just when it comes to, like, the whole chapters, like, as a whole, I still think Chapter 2 is the weakest Fortnite chapter of them all, but Chapter 4 is not too far behind that. Like, I really feel like this chapter just feels like it was a complete waste. We're not even going to get a live event on this map. It's just going to come and go with an update, and I feel like that's kind of telling on how this whole chapter has been. It hasn't been bad, but it also hasn't been very good. And I genuinely don't think I'm going to miss this map. Even the Chapter 2 map, I had a little bit of remorse for at the end of it, because, you know, there were places there that I did like Pleasant Park and Retail Row, but at the end of the day, Chapter 4, while I had the better map, just doesn't feel all that special to me, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Comparing it to the other 3, it's barely a step above Chapter 2 for me, gameplay-wise, but I think it's probably gonna have to be my least favorite Fortnite chapter. I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and yeah, it is. And that's a little sad. Anyways, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree. Either one is fine. and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you to my Ko-Fi supporters. I really appreciate it.